I said, girl, don't lose your faith, 'cause you won't always be alone. You're more than your mistakes, and me, you'll always have a home in your heart, in your mind. Well, I saw in your eyes that I need to let go. I said, girl, don't lose your faith, don't lose your faith.
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Inspired Moment with Jumoke. My name is Jumoke Olagunju. Okay, and this program or this class is brought to you by the Inspired Design School of Fashion. If this is your first time coming in contact with us, please remember to subscribe to this channel, turn on your notifications. Then you can follow us on Facebook and on Instagram at the Inspired Design. The links are below. We also have a Facebook group where you can share your practice work with us and request for a class that you would like to be taking. It's called the Inspired Design School of Fashion on Facebook. All right, quickly let's jump into today's class. Today we'll be making the simple kaftan that I showed you before starting this class. Is like a color block dress. That means when I say color block, it means we're creating blocks with different kinds of fabric or pattern or color. Okay, actually I'm using lace and African print and then a plain fabric for this, but you can actually use plain fabric of different colors and you still achieve this same result, even maybe more beautiful. Or you can use two different flowered materials that goes where you have to be sure that they complement each other. That's the important thing. And we'll be making use of the torso foundation. In my previous my previous classes, I've taught us how to draft a torso pattern, and I told you the importance of it is very useful for when you are making dresses or blouses or even shirts. You draft the pattern from a torso foundation, not the regular basic bodice pattern. And for this one, I've actually extended it to the length that I need for my dress, which is like 39 inches, and it already included what I'll be turning in at the hem, because my dress, I like it 37 to 38 inches. So we have the front and the back, and what we're going to do is to you can make your blocks anyhow you want. In fact, you can use 4 different materials or 4 different colors, but we're using 2. So on one side we'll have the lace, on the other side we'll have the African print. Then there's going to be a flap in front, like a button flap or something like that, that I'll use a plain material for, and it has to be centered. First of all, we'll cut out our fabric. What we're going to do is, on one side I said we'll have the lace. That means from the lace I'm going to cut one side of the front and one side of the back. Now I'm using this as the right side of my material, because you have to notice so that you don't go and cut two sides that are the same. Okay, if I cut this one like this for the front, the other one that I'll cut, I will have to flip my pattern like this for it to match. Okay, so now the way it is placed like this. Okay, this is my front. This will be the left side of the dress, so I'm cutting the left side first. Also, you can see that the back will be attached to it like this. So this is both of them. If I turn it to this side, I've made the right side of the fabric, they will be the left side of my dress. So I'm going to place them both on top of my lace fabric, and you can see I'm just using leftover fabric. These are the kind of things you can use to make use of the fabric that would have gone to waste. I won't be having, okay, maybe I'll just add 1/2 inch seam, because I think I already have more than enough excess on my fabric. I'm just going to place it like this. But remember, we'll be joining it at the center front and the center back. That means you have to add your allowance. We're going to add ½ inch allowance to join the other part of the back to it, and then the other part of the front to it. So place it very well. Add all your seam allowances. If you have not added to your pattern before, then cut it out, and this will form the left side of the dress. Okay. I've cut the lace one, which will be the left side of my fabric. Now this is going to be the right side. We're going to make a little adjustment to the front pattern, because you remember I said there's going to be something like a button flap on the front. I'll be using the plain fabric, and that flap is 2 inches, and I want it to be at the center, and I don't want to stitch it on top. It's going to be attached to the right side, and it will flip over the left side of my dress. So because of that, I'm going to remove 1 inch for my pattern at the center front. 1 inch is half the width of the flap that I'll be adding. Okay, so that by the time I add the flap, the middle of the flap, which is 2 inches, the midpoint of the 2 inches will be the center front. Okay, so I'm folding it in, but when I want to cut, I'll still have to add my ½ inch seam for joining it to the other side. I didn't do that for the right side because for the left pattern, because the flap is going to fall over that excess, and then it will be in the center. So if I want to use, maybe what I want to add in the center is 4 inches, that means I'll have to reduce this part by 2 inches. I'm still going to be adjusting the neckline, but let's cut out our pattern first. So I'm folding this 1 into 2. I'm folding 1 inch out of my center front, and then you can see that this time around I'm using the other side. When I was cutting the first one, I used the part where we were showing these dots, but I flip it over like this, and this is the right side of my fabric. When I cut the lace through, it was cut like this on the right side of the fabric. That's how you don't make a mistake and you don't mix everything up. So we're just going to lay it. I want to make sure that my yellow design is showing very well on this front side. So I'll be placing my pattern in such a way to encompass that yellow part very well. So let's cut. Now for the sleeve, I'm not going to be showing you how to cut the sleeve. I already made a video on a sleeve pattern. I'll drop the link below for those who don't know how to do it. So we're going to be cutting one sleeve from the lace fabric, one from the main fabric. Also, I decided to change. Initially I wanted to use this blue for the center, but I decided to go for something brighter, which matches this. So for the sleeve also, I'll be cutting like this. Is folded 2.5 inches. When you open it is 5 inches, so that by the time I'm going to put it at the edge of the sleeve like this. So I have 2 inches. You can make yours bigger or smaller depending on what you want. I always leave my classes open because you are designers. You should make your own style. So this is what one sleeve will look like. The other one, so this one will be on the side where we have the lace fabric, and this one will be on the side where we have the African print. Okay. Okay, so that's this. Now for the front part, where we're going to have the blue at the center. Okay. Okay. So remember, this is the right side, so the center flap is coming towards the left. We made this one shorter. Then I want to put a zipper, just a short zipper at the top here, just for ease. But actually, if you've you didn't take in your that and all that, the dress should be free by itself. You don't actually need this, but I'm just putting it. So what I will do, this is the center piece. I've ironed it. It's actually longer than what I want. That way I can trim it the way I want it to be at the neckline. So I'm going to take the zipper. It's coming this way. This is supposed to be attached first to the African print, then to this. So what I will do first is to take my zipper and I'll attach it to this African print here. To the center piece, which is the flap. You know how we normally attach zipper, okay? I want to be sure that I have it the way I want it to be, so that this will not be open like this. This will be attached. So this is the front part, and you can see that this side, which is the right side, as in when you're wearing it, this is the right side of your dress, it's shorter by 1 inch than this. Okay, so if you look at the neckline now, let me see. If you look at the neckline, it's not looking balanced, right? So this, by the time we place this on top, now the plain fabric, you're going to measure 5 inches to the length you require, so that when we fold it into two, we'll have 2.5. By the time I use a 1/2 inch to join to this one, I have my 2 inches, and it's going to come in the middle like this. And you can see that by the time you do that, it will be in the center. So after that, I want to trim the neckline to dip it a little bit. I'll do the same thing for the back. So let's see. I should have done it on the pattern, but the thing is, I don't want to spoil that pattern. So I'm just going to, you can drop it to whatever depths you want the neckline, the neckline to be. Drop it to the depth you want, and then the width, I'm just going to increase this by this one 1 inch on the shoulder here, and then drop it by like 2 inches, then cut it out. I want to make sure it's lining perfectly. If you want it to go much more wide, you can still cut it. This is like 5 inches. That depth is okay for me. So for the back also, I have to make sure that the shoulder length is the same thing. I don't have to drop the back neckline, as in the depth, if I don't want to. But if you want it also to go down, you can go ahead and drop that also. So I'm just going to mark it. Sorry, just placing it on top. Let me drop it a little bit. What I will do now is I will attach this flap to the African print. I'm going to stitch it. I will extend it a bit above the neckline because is longer than what I actually need. I'll be able to trim it when I'm done. Okay, so I'll attach it here. all the way down. Okay, then I'm going to take my zipper, open it up. You know, the zipper is, this is the right side of the zipper, so this side, flip it. I know that by now you should know how to fix a zipper, but I'm just explaining like this. I'm going to stitch it on top. Remember, the guideline is 1/2 inch seam. We're supposed to use 1/2 inch seam to join this to this other part, and I didn't put any extra. I didn't put like a lining allowance or anything. Make sure that the tip matches with the tip of the other one of the dress. The tip of the zipper is aligns with the tip of the neckline. That's what I mean. Okay, so we'll stitch it like that. Then this other one will be stitched to this side, but before then I'm going to flip it on top. So if you already know how to fix zipper, you can just do it how you usually do it, because like I usually say, there are different ways of arriving at the same answer or whatever. I'll just match it up very well. Then this is where the zipper should end. I mean, this is the end of the tip of the zipper, so I'm going to come up by like maybe 1/2 inch, and then take my 1/2 inch seam and stitch. Remember, before I've not stitched this other side of the zipper to the lace. This will make sure that you have neat finishing at the edge here. So I'm going to take it all the way down with my 1/2 inch seam. I'm going to stitch it. Don't be in too much of a hurry to pin, and don't feel too big to pin. Really, there's really no class in saying, okay, no, I'm already a boss, I don't need to pin. That's the essence of pin. There are some things that it's just better you just you know, pin it, and it's much more important when you are a beginner. All right, so when I flip it, it's going to look like so. Then I can open it like this, you can see. Then I'll flip it this way and finish my zipper. Make sure that it aligns perfectly. Okay, I'm going to do this other side. The edge of the tape comes to the edge of the neckline, and then I stitch. It's so simple, right? Okay, let me have one more pin so that you can. It's going to look like this. If you like, excuse me, when you are done to make this one lie flat, you can top stitch on it. And remember, before you go ahead, try and overlock your hem, because your edges, because by the time you are done, you may not be able to overlock it neatly. So you pull your zipper up, and it's going to look like this. Okay, so from this part now, if I think it's maybe opening, I can just top stitch here to hold it down, but that is optional. Or you can just stack it at interval so that it doesn't keep flapping open. So that's it. The back, there's really not much to it. Just join it at the center back. Join the two together at the center back, and you are ready. Remember to take in your bust dart here for the front. Now, one other thing I want to do is to add pockets. You can add any kind of pocket you want. You can add an inseam pocket if you like, but I want to add a patch pocket. I'm going to design it. I'm going to make a design. Design it. You can design it however you want, but I want to just shape it a bit at this side. So on this Ankara part, you can switch things up. You can put the lace pocket on this side, African print on this side, but I think I'm just going to maintain the same this thing, so that I'm using African print here where I have African print, and I'll use lace for the pockets here where I have lace. But like I said, you can switch it over. So let's cut out the pockets. I'll quickly show you how I'm going to draft my pocket. Let me use chalk so that I can dust it off. Now this is the waistline of my pattern. I'm going to draft the pocket on this pattern, then we'll trace it out. I hope this is clear enough. This is a waistline. I'm trying not to mess it up with the markers, but I'm not sure if you can see that. Now from the waistline, I'm going to measure like 12 inches down. Where did I put my tape? Okay, let me just use the ruler. I'm going to measure 12 inches down, which is around here. So basically, I'm just going to draft whatever shape I want my pocket to be from this waistline like this. I want something for, it's more of a decoration than a real pocket really. Then from the waistline, so this is the size of the pocket, but from the waistline I'm going to come down by 6 inches for the hand, as in so that my hand can enter. Then from that 6 inches, let me just measure a 1 inch. Then I'm just going to curve it like this and connect. So that's it. That's the shape of the pocket I want to have. So this will be the inside. This is going to be a patch pocket that will be placed on top of the dress. Then you take another paper, place it on top, then use your tracing wheel to trace it out. Trace the side, the opening, okay. Then I'm going to cut it out and use it to cut my fabric. So if you want different shape pockets, in fact, I'm looking forward to people that will draft a different, as in spice up your own design, make it a little bit different from what I've cut. So this is my patch pocket. It's going to come on top of my fabric like this. So let's cut it out. So with my pattern, I've cut out the pockets, 1 lace and 1 African print. I've actually attached the African print one on the side with the African print. And like I told you, you can decide to alternate it, put the lace on the African print side, put the African print on the lace side. But I just want to maintain it this way. So when you are cutting, remember to add your seam allowance here. Remember to add your seam allowance at the edge here and also here, and in fact all around it, because this is the entry of the pocket and you need to add seam allowance. So what I did is to use a bias tape to tape around it. It's easier like that. It makes it very easy to turn. And for the side too, I use bias tape, then iron it down. I've not stitched this side, you don't need to. So like this now, I'll just place it on my front dress, the front part of the dress, where the pocket is supposed to be. You know, when we're drafting, we started from the waist area, so that's how you're going to place it. Then you stitch around the head. I've done for the African print. And also I've attached this middle panel, and then our zipper is here. Remember, for this particular design, or style because it's a little bit free. I really don't need this zipper, but I'm teaching you this because one, you may want to make another style that has this kind of flap and you want to add a zipper. You already know how to do it like this. Or if you this style also, you can make a much more fitted part style, and then you may want your zipper to come, you know, all the way down or just to the waistline or whatever. So you use the same method. There's the zipper. Now the major work is done. What we're going to do is, I've already joined the back piece together also. We're going to place it on top of each other, join at the shoulder seam, then we'll join the side seam. That is after you have fixed your pocket, please, and then we'll have our sleeve. This is a true sleeve. Once we join the side seam, we'll attach the sleeve. The African print will come on the side where we have the African print. Then the lace one will come where we have the lace side. Okay, so it's as simple as that. For the neckline, okay, you can see that this is extending beyond the neckline, so you can just fold it like this and trim it out. Then there are two ways you can decide. Before joining the side seam, I can decide to, you know, place this on a plain fabric and cut a facing. So I use facing for my fabric. Or if you want to line it, you cut your facing and then the lining piece. Especially if this lace is very transparent, you may want to line it, but I think I'm just going to do without lining. Then you can, if you don't want to face, you can use bias tape to turn your neckline. It's as simple as that. So quickly, let me finish all that. That is, fix your pockets, join at the shoulder seam, join the side seam, and fix your sleeve. Do all the aiming and we are done. Let's do that and I'll show you what the finished project looks like. I look forward to seeing you practice this. I would love to see you, as in show your creativity. Use different kind of fabric, use a plain fabric, whatever. I would love to see. Share with us on our Facebook group, the Inspired Design School of Fashion, and don't forget, subscribe to the channel and turn on your notification. See you next time.